Hi, everybody. This is Carrie Hamblen, the CEO and president of the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce, coming to you again with another one of our Zoom chats. These have become really popular for our member businesses. And today, it's been quite a while. I've got Nick Kadlec, who is the CEO of New Mexico Solar Group. Nick, it is great seeing you. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing well, and it's great seeing you as well. Yeah, I think it was middle of the pandemic, about a year and a half ago, we last talked, and so really appreciate you inviting us to do a Zoom chat again, and love being a member of the Green Chamber, and I love that you guys do this. So thank you.
We're very grateful, and we are big fans of being able to provide services for our member businesses. And when you and I first met, the whole point of these Zoom chats was to help uplift our businesses when they were having a challenging time reaching people, and they've become so popular that we're able to do this. But just since it has been quite a while, why don't you refresh people about kind of the starting of the New Mexico Solar Group or NM Solar Group, because you're not just in Las Cruces, you're actually based in other parts of the state.
Correct. Yeah. So we started in 2015 up in Albuquerque, but pretty quickly, within about a year and a half, 2 years, we had expanded down into southern New Mexico, bought our first building in southern New Mexico in Alamogordo, and then about a year later, a building in Las Cruces. And we also have a building in Roswell. And so we service every part of New Mexico that it makes sense to go solar economically, and where the jurisdictions and electric companies make it doable. And so yeah, we serve all of New Mexico and even El Paso, Texas as well. And yeah, it's again, appreciate you doing those Zoom chats before. It was touch and go there for a lot of businesses, including ours. During pandemic, we didn't know if we'd be able to continue to operate, to do our installations, to sell. It ended up we did really well through that time. But I think things like this helped our business and a lot of businesses make sure to get through the pandemic. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. Well, I know that it was kind of an odd situation because you weren't alone, as solar companies were considered essential during the
Correct.
pandemic. So there was a little bit more flexibility for you. And then did you find that because people weren't spending money on kind of the things that we normally do and travel and all that, that may have been one of the contributing factors to why people were purchasing solar?
I think so, definitely. I mean, it was kind of a perfect storm of things in that I think people were in their homes, they were using more electricity. Their electric bill was, because of that, standing out even more. People got into a lot of, because they were at home a lot of home renovation projects, and solar was one that people looked into a lot. So I think that was part of it. And like you mentioned, maybe having some extra money, they weren't spending money traveling. They were in a better spot to be able to make a purchase.
Yeah.
We do 100% financing, so you don't have to have the money up front, which is nice. But I think it did help a lot of people make that decision easier.
Well, and that's the thing that we've talked about before, that for a long time, solar seemed to be something that was really only a select group of people could actually use. And still there are people who are low income who may not be able to afford this, and they do need to own their home. But it is becoming a lot more accessible to people to be able to do this and to see the value. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it even helps go into the value of a home when that used to not do that.
Yeah, definitely. So it is becoming more accessible, and we've been huge champions for that, not just for our own business, but we want to bring solar to as many communities, people within those communities as possible. And so there's several ways. A lot of the lenders have gotten to where they'll go down with lower credit scores, lower incomes, higher debt to income ratios. There's just a lot more companies getting into financing solar. They realize what a great product it is for end consumers, has low default rates, that kind of thing. So that was probably the first thing that really opened it up. And then a few other things that have happened recently. The state repassed their tax credit. You do have to be a homeowner for those and for the federal tax credits, but the state last legislative session, I'm sure, as you probably know from being a part of that, changed it to where if you can't use it as a credit, you can still get it as a refund. And so that makes it to where people that might not have had the tax liability, higher incomes, even people that are retired, they don't have the tax liability sometimes. So that opened it up there. And then one thing I'm really thrilled about, and NM Solar Group's looking for ways, and I think finding success in ways of being involved in, is community solar.
Yeah.
For people that don't have roof space, They don't have they don't want to take out the debt. They don't want to affect the debt to income, whatever it is. There's a lot of reasons that someone might not want to put solar on the roof or on their property, but they can still be a part of basically a remote solar installation that's within their electric company's jurisdiction, and then get a subscription. So that was passed about a year and a half ago now. They're almost done with the rulemaking, and so people will start seeing the opportunity to become a subscriber to a community solar farm that's near them. Still the best long-term benefit, financial benefit, is to get it on your property or on your house. You'll save a lot more that way. But for the people that there's too much shade, they can't qualify for the loan, whatever it is, there's a lot of reasons that people want to go solar but can't. There will be that way of going solar. And then you mentioned the home's value, and solar being able to recognize the value of solar for the home. We actually offer a product called Pearl Certification, where every one of our customers gets a certificate from, it's a third-party entity. They worked actually with the National Realtors Association, the Department of Energy. There's actually 4 or 5, the Appraisal Institute, to develop this certification that gives an appraiser 3 different ways to appraise a solar system on someone's home accurately and give it the value that it's really worth. And so we've seen that utilized really well over about 2 years now. We started that right after the pandemic. That first spring of the pandemic was when we found that product, and we were so thrilled, because that has been a struggle sometimes getting the value for your solar. But we work with Pearl. We get a certificate for every one of our customers that shows what that value is and helps an appraiser give that value if someone refinances a home or if they sell their home.
And that, I remember when we first got our solar system, and some of our members who were really instrumental in the formation of the Green Chamber, Renee Frank with solar, with the Smart Living team, really understanding, like, oh my gosh, like people, it was really at the time people seeing the value of solar and saying, hey, that is a selling point to me, but not being able to be included in the actual value of the home. And now it's like, those of us who have been doing it are like, hi, welcome to the party. Thanks for recognizing that. It's you're a little late, but good.
Right.
We'll still take you. And so, the community solar, it's absolutely, I think, game changing, especially for a lot of low income homes who don't have either the capital, or, as like you were saying, they're not able to, because of whatever circumstance, to be able to put a system on their house, and it either be financial or location, environmental. And so what have been some other things that you've seen that are really good for the solar industry that you're seeing from New Mexico Solar Group as a benefit as well?
So again, basically more and more, I would say they call it capital going into the industry. So a huge actually thing is the Inflation Reduction Act that got passed. It's federal law that got passed about a month and a half ago or so. The federal tax credit had started to sunset. It was at 26% this year, and it was going down to 22% next year. That got raised back up to 30%, not just for the rest of this year, but for another 10 years. And then it starts sunsetting again. So that huge long runway of really good tax incentives for people to utilize. The state's around for, I think it's another 8 years. So we got another 8 years where you can get about 40%. And of course, people's individual tax situation determines how much they can get, but their system will qualify for 40%. And they just have to look at their own particular tax situation. Those are some huge benefits, and having those extended far out into time is great for our industry. It's got more companies and people in finance and equity coming into and supporting our industry with better loan products as well too. So right now we are dealing with raising interest rates. Everyone is, like, across the board, right? That's affecting things as well. But long term and even short term, it still makes sense. You're still going to save money getting a solar loan if you're not in a place to pay for it up front with cash, which of course we're always happy to do a cash deal with a customer. But if you need to finance it, the interest rates have gone up a little bit. I still think it's a really good time to get in before they go up further. They are projected to go up further, but even with them where they're projected to go, solar is still a really good savings. And so that the Inflation Reduction Act had some great stuff for climate change. which obviously the Green Chamber, I'm sure, is really on board with that, right? We were
very happy
about that. It gives a lot of stability to our industry. And because of that, you have a lot more in private equity coming in. So I think it might take a little while. And then manufacturing, there's stuff in for domestic manufacturing, which is going to help drive down costs over time. There's a lot of great stuff for our industry. And of course, that affects NM Solar Group being part of renewable industry. So really excited about that getting passed a couple months ago.
Well, I would love for us to have a manufacturing plant in New Mexico like we used to years ago. Because I don't know. Say again?
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, I think Shot Solar. I know we had Shot Solar manufactured here.
Okay. Yeah, I really think we need to, and kind of combining my two hats is like, if we should be the solar capital of the country. I mean, given the amount of sunlight, we're not having it today, but those of us who are like in the sunlight all the time are like grateful for these cloudy days. But it's ridiculous that we don't have this as a major driving industry in the state. And I think with groups like yours, because you also do a lot of stuff at the legislative level, you're very active in that. And so I think between the two of us, I think we're going to work on it. I think, right? That could be our project, making us the solar capital of the country.
That sounds like a great plan to me. We'll set a separate meeting to start that process.
Woohoo! Well, Nick, it's always a pleasure talking with you, and I'm so glad that you've been able to do what you're doing, and also the 100% financing. It's really kind of the way to go to make it a lot more accessible to people, and really grateful that you're doing that, and also for your membership in the Green Chamber. If you'd like to know more about New Mexico Solar Growth, you can either call their local office in Las Cruces. You'll see the information either above or below, or if you'd like to know about what they're doing throughout the state, you can go ahead and find their website, nmsolargroup.com, and you'll be able to find out more about what they're doing in the community. And so, Nick, thank you so much. I do know that eventually you and I will meet each other face to face. It will happen.
Yes.
It will happen.
Very soon. Soon. I come down to Las Cruces about a couple times a month, so I'll make sure next time I'm down there, I'll get with you ahead of time. We'll get together.
Love it. Then we'll start making plans to change the world.
Perfect.
Woo!
Sounds good. Thank you, Carrie.
Sure thing. And if you'd like to do a Zoom chat as a member of the Green Chamber, contact me here on our Facebook page. I'll be more than happy to schedule that for you. They're super easy, and they're painless, and they're a lot of fun, and it's a great way to promote your business. So, Nick, I'll see you soon. For everybody else, thank you as always for supporting our local businesses. And until our next Zoom chat, we'll see you then. Bye, Nick.
Okay, thank you.